Okay, guys, let's have a look. So, yesterday we read the story A Fine, Fine School. For homework, we had to finish our 10 comprehension questions. Let's just go through that today. Number one, why does Mr. Keane want to have more days of school? A, he loves the school. B, he is a mean principal. C, he thinks the students are not learning enough. Or D, he thinks the teachers are not doing a good job of teaching. What is the answer for number one here? Tweety, what do you think?
He loves the school.
Good girl. The reason is because he loves the school. We can find this information on page number 20. So well done to those of you who got the answer right and also the page number. I did notice that some students completed it one time without doing the page number, but then corrected themselves. So good job on that. Okay, number two. Hannah, can you read all of that for me, please?
What does Tilly do on weekends before Mr. Keane asks the students to come to school on Saturdays and Sundays? F. Tilly is bored. G. Tilly goes to the grocery store. H. Tilly goes to visit Mr. Keane at school. Tilly climbs a tree and walks her dog.
Good job. Lovely reading, Hannah. Okay, guys, so what does Tilly do on the weekends before she unfortunately has to go back to school and she starts going to school on the weekends? How does she spend her weekends before? Oh, lots of hands are raised. Okay, Mia, can you help me, please?
I choose I. Tilly climbs a tree and walks her dog.
Good girl, Mia. You got it perfectly correct. The answer is I. So Tilly likes to climb a tree and walks her dog. They are some of the activities she does before she has to go to school on the weekend. Number three, Mickey, can you please read all of this for me?
Why don't the teacher and student tell Mr. Keane that they do not want school in the summer? A. They don't want to hurt Mr. Keane's feelings. B. They like the idea of having school every day. C. Sally tells them not to say anything to Mr. Keane. D. Mr. Keane is the
Principal.
principal and it is decision.
Good girl. Lovely reading, Mickey. Thank you. What is the answer here? Why don't the teachers and students tell Mr. Keane that they don't want school in summer? What's the reason for this? Teddy Bear, do you know the answer?
The reason for this is because they don't want to hurt Mr. Keane's feelings.
Good girl. The students and the teachers really like Mr. Keane and they don't want to disappoint him. They can see how proud he is of all of the members of faculty in his school. So they don't want to hurt his feelings. Good job, Teddy. Number four, why does Tilly go to Mr. Keane's office? Tilly is not learning anything at school. Tilly wants her brother to come to school too. Tilly wants to tell Mr. Keane that days off are important too. Or Tilly wants Mr. Keane to learn how to climb trees, skip, and swing. Why does she go to his office? Let's go for Kwang Ming.
Tilly go to Mr. Keane's office because Tilly wants to tell Mr. Keane that days off are important too.
Awesome work, Kwang Ming. Well done. The reason is she goes to the office because she wants to tell Mr. Keane that having time off school is important because there are many things that you learn at home. You learn how to look after your baby brother or sister. You learn how to cook. You learn how to clean your room, clean your house, clean a car, clean the motorbike. There are lots of important things we must learn outside of school. Good job, Kwang Ming. All right, moving on to the next page. Okay, number 5. Can you read that for me, Susie? Go ahead, Susie.
Look at the picture that shows Mr. Keane walking up and down the hall. How is Mr. Keane most likely feeling?
A.
So hard. B. He is happy that the students are such good learners. C. He is sorry that he made the student come to school so much. D. He is angry that the students do not want to go to school in the summer.
Good job. Lovely reading. Thank you so much, Susie. Lei Kang, can you tell me the answer for this one?
The answer for that one is C. He is sorry that he made the student come to school so much.
Good girl. Well done. I'll just have a look at that picture now. So the picture is on page 26. Of Mr. Keane walking up and down in the school corridors. Have a look here. This is Mr. Keane's face on that page. As you can see, he seems a bit disappointed, a bit sad. It looks like he feels sorry for what he has done to the students. So the answer here was he feels sorry for making the students work so much. He realizes after speaking to Tilly that children need some time off too. Number 6, have a look. Who can tell me what the answer is here? Why are the teachers and students worried when Mr. Keane calls them all together after his meeting with Tilly? Jenny, can you tell me, please?
Because they are afraid he will add more school.
Absolutely. So we talked about this yesterday. Every time Mr. Keane has a meeting with the students and teachers, he says, let's go to school on Saturdays. Then the next meeting, he says, let's go to school on Sundays. Then the next meeting he says, let's go to school during the summer. So in 3 meetings, he has added lots and lots of more school. So everyone is really worried with the last meeting because they think that he's going to start making them go to school at nighttime or something crazy like that. Okay, number 7. Emma, what's the answer for this one, please? Why is Beans unable to learn how to jump over a creek?
C. Tilly is too busy to teach him.
Good job. Well done, Emma. Tilly is too busy to teach him. We find that on page 25, and she's explaining to Mr. Keane that her dog doesn't know how to jump over a creek yet. And that's because Tilly, his owner, is not around as much to teach him how to do these tricks. Okay, number 8, have a look. Why did the illustrator most likely draw a picture of Beans leaning against a tree while knitting? Was it to show tricks dogs can learn? To show that dogs do homework? To make you want to learn how to knit? Or to make you laugh at a silly idea in the story? Kwang Hai, what do you think?
Make you laugh a silly idea in the story.
Good job, Kwang Hai. The answer is to make you laugh at a silly idea in the story. We're actually going to talk about illustrations and their purposes mainly in this. We're going to talk about illustrations mainly today and talk about their purposes. So we'll look at this more in today's class. Okay, 2 more questions. Number 9, look at the picture at the beginning of the story of the students in the classroom. What can you tell about the students from this picture? The students are busy playing. The students like to learn all kinds of things. The teacher is reading a book to the students, or the teacher and Mr. Keane are teaching the class. So I'll just have a quick show of the beginning of the story. Okay, so here we are. So we're looking at this picture. What can you tell from this illustration? Kui Kang, what do you think?
I think B. The students like to learn all kinds of things.
Good job, Kui Kang. Well done. The answer is B. It shows us that the students like to learn all kinds of things. They're artistic. They like to make pyramids, which could be mathematical or it could be artistic. And they're also writing vocabulary words like cubism on the board, which is a type of art form. Okay, number 10. Let's have a look. The last question that we have. Look at the picture that shows the students in the lunchroom. How do the students most likely feel? Afraid, angry, sad, or surprised? So just to remind you, this is the picture they are talking about. How do the students look? How do you think they feel in this picture? Hacker, can you tell me? How do you think they might feel?
They must feel sad.
Very good. Well done. They feel sad. They're being overworked. They aren't spending time with their family. They're going to school all the time. They look sad. We can tell that by the expression on their faces. Really good job, Hacker. So well done with your homework, guys. Really good job. Now, let's start our lesson today. Like I said, today we're going to look really into the illustrations in this story. So have a look here. Can you read for me, Kiwi?
Illustration or drawings or artwork that show the event of a story.
Good girl, Kiwi. Can you take over from reading, please, Ming Huang?
Illustration can also tell you more about the story.
Good job. Thank you, Ming Huang. Can you take over from reading, please, Ocean?
Voice and music can help you figure out the mood or feeling of the story.
Good job. Thanks for reading. So, illustrations are drawings or artwork that show the events in the story. Illustrations can help you learn more about the story. For example, they can help you figure out the mood or feeling of the story. So, the mood means how people feel. Is it a happy mood, a sad mood, an angry mood, a loving mood? Let's have a look. We're going to go through the story and look at all the different pictures and try and figure out if we can understand the mood or feeling of that page. If you have your journeys book, please open to page 16 and 17. If you don't have your journeys book, please just look at my screen. Okay, guys, so pages 16 and 17 are here. Have a look. So let's just talk about the mood or the feeling on these two pages, not by looking at the words, simply by looking at the illustration and the drawings. What do you guys think? Do you think the mood on this page is a happy mood, a sad mood, an angry mood, a loving mood? What do you think? Tweety, what do you think?
The happy mood.
Good girl. This is a happy mood on this page. Who can explain to me why they know this is a happy mood? Kwang Ming?
Because the face of the children are happy.
Good job. If you just simply look at this picture, you will notice that all the children, or most of the children, have smiles on their faces. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 smiles from the children. Mr. Keane and the teacher also look really happy too. So this mood is showing me that no one is sad, no one's down. Everyone is being creative and very busy, but very happy. Good job, Kwang Ming. Okay, let's keep looking. Everyone have a look at page 18. What do you think about the mood on this page? Noob, what do you think?
Happy feeling.
Good job. How do you know there is a happy mood on this page? Noob?
Because they go to play.
Absolutely. Tilly and her brother are and Beans are off to play baseball, and Tilly and her brother have smiles on their faces. And here are their loving parents watching in the background as well, smiling at their children playing together and having a nice time. Beans, on the other hand, down here has been put in here to make us laugh. So obviously, dogs would not put war paint on their faces. Dogs would not wear baseball caps. Dogs would not wear baseball gloves or be able to hold baseballs in their paws. So the illustrator has put this in to make us laugh and to remind us that this is meant to be a silly and funny story. Good job. Okay, turn over to the next page. Okay, so on this page, we have learned that Mr. Keane is starting to add more and more days in school. What do you think the mood is on this page? Out reading the story without knowing what the story is about. Susie, what do you think? Good girl. How do you know that this feeling is sad?
Summer long.
Very good. Well done. The students have just learned that they will be learning all summer long. And they'll be learning with no break. And as you can tell from their faces, they look sad and disappointed. If you notice, This little boy actually has a line here to kind of show that he's been frowning so much, he now has a line here. This boy looks like he's opening his mouth to say, oh, this is so terrible. This boy has his head in his hands with a very sad face. Everyone in this picture, apart from Mr. Keane, is looking really sad. Okay, look at the next page over here. Again, what do you think the feeling is on this page? Suri, what do you think? What's the mood on this page?
Lonely.
Oh, very good word. Well done, Suri. He looks lonely. He's holding up his hands. He's shouting, what about swimming? How can you teach me how to swim? He looks disappointed, lonely, and sad. How about Tilly? How does Tilly look? Lekang, what do you think?
Tilly looks sad too because Tilly have a lot of tests and need to go to school every single day.
Good job. So even if we didn't read the story and we didn't know she had to go to school every single day, just from looking at this illustration, I can see that her brother looks sad and disappointed. He's calling out to his sister, and it looks like his sister is way too busy to be hanging out with her little brother because of all the tests she has to do. Good job. Okay, let's have a look. Everyone turn your pages to page 26 and 27. Now this is a really wonderful illustration. There are so many details in this picture. Have a look. I'm going to zoom in. Here is a picture of a boy putting his ridiculously difficult algebra books in. Big words, even bigger words, massive words. He's got a picture of his mom and dad saying, we miss you, son. Kiss, kiss, mom and dad. This is to show that the children are spending so little time with their family that they've got pictures of them in their locker saying, we miss you. If you look over here, we've got a boy brushing his teeth with floss and a mirror in his locker to show that maybe he doesn't have time at home to brush his teeth, so he's doing it at school. There's even 2 notes here saying, don't forget to brush, kiss, kiss, mom, and a recess quiz on Sunday. Recess is another word for break time. So the students are learning so much that they're having a quiz about break time. This is how ridiculous Mr. Keane has made the school. He's been making them have quizzes or tests about break time. If we look over here, we'll see a girl putting 10,000 pencils into her locker, a little boy carrying a ton of books. If we look over here, we've got a girl carrying so many books: Russia, Africa, economics, China. Wide load. She's got a warning sign on her rucksack saying wide load and how's my walking? 1-800-SAFE WALK. Again, all of these little notes and details are to make you laugh, to make you see how ridiculous this story is, that these children aren't spending time with their families. They're doing so much work. Let's have a look over here. We've got a boy with books falling onto him, books about Latin, Greeks, Romans, and much more. And here we've got a boy carrying notes from his parents and another book on the floor that says how to avoid sleeping. So all of these little details the illustrator is putting in is to make you laugh and also to make you understand the mood and the feeling of this story. So on these 2 pages, we have very little words, but we know so much about the feelings. We know that the kids are exhausted, they're upset, they're missing their family, and it's the first time that we see Mr. Keane looking disappointed and sad at what he's doing to the children. Okay, the last one I want to look at is on these 2 pages, pages number 32 and 33. Okay, who can tell me what is the mood or the feeling on these 2 pages? Hannah, what do you think?
I think in this picture, the mood is happy.
Good girl. Can you give me an example of how you know the mood is happy here?
Everyone's smiling.
Good girl. Everyone is smiling. That's a perfect example. Everyone in this picture is smiling. They've got their hands up, they're hugging, they're dancing. Kui Kai, yes, have you got another example?
They are carrying Mr. Keane up.
Good job. They are carrying and holding Mr. Keane up. So these must be pretty strong students. They're holding Mr. Keane up and parading him through the town. So they're dancing. Even Beans, have a look at Beans. Beans is doing a salsa dance down here because he knows that he gets to spend time with his owner, Tilly, again. So the mood on this page is super happy. Everyone is smiling, like Hannah said. Students are dancing, dogs are dancing, people are shouting and screaming, and as Kang said, they're carrying Mr. Keane through the town. So this is a very, very happy page. So as you can see, illustrations can be super important to a story because without even reading the words, you can learn so much from a story just by looking at the illustrations. Okay, guys, and we're going to start the next part of our lesson. So have a look here. Can you read all of this for me? Leo, can you please read all of this for me?
In a fine school, you read about Tilly and her school. You also read about the school principal, Mr. King, and his plans. Where the story takes place is called the setting. The people in the story are called other characters. Everything that happens is called the plot.
Plot. Good job, Leo. Well done. Okay, guys, so the second thing we're going to learn about and the last thing we're going to learn about today is something called story structure. Story structure just means how a story is made, what the structure is of a story. In a story, we always have a setting, we have characters, and we have the plot. The plot is the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's everything that happens in the story. Have a look here. Can you read this for me, please? Lekang.
Story structure is the arrangement of a story from beginning to end.
Good job. The story structure is how and where you put the pieces of a story from the beginning to the end. Let's have a look. Can you read this for me, Teddy?
In the beginning of a story, we introduce the characters and the setting.
Good job. In the beginning of a story, we always introduce the characters and the setting. They are the first things we get introduced to. So, for example, if we have a story about aliens, usually it will start by saying, on planet Zogwab, there lived two aliens. There, we know where the setting is. It's in outer space, it's on a completely different planet from Earth, and we get introduced to our main characters. Have a look. What are characters? Can you please read this for me, Kwang Hai?
Characters are the people or animal in a story.
Good job, Kwang Hai. Well done. So the characters are the people or the animals in a story. Characters can even be things in a story. So, for example, in Beauty and the Beast, click the raise your hand button if you've ever seen or read the story Beauty and the Beast. Oh, lots of hands are going up. Okay, so we're all familiar with that story, Beauty and the Beast. In the story Beauty and the Beast, we have Beauty, which is a princess named Belle. We have the Beast, who is some kind of animal monster, but we also have characters who are objects. For example, there is a teacup and a teapot that are characters. Can anyone remind me of any other characters in Beauty and the Beast who are objects? Teddy bear.
Candle.
Good girl. A candle. Well done. What about you, Kiwi? Can you remember any other characters?
A clock.
Good girl. The candle and the clock. So they are two really important and also kind of main characters in the story. There is a talking candle and a talking clock. So characters can also be objects as long as they have a personality and are able to speak. What are character traits? Have a look at these words. Can you please read these words for me, Cindy?
Kind, helpful, caring.
Good job. Kind, helpful, and caring. Now have a look at this picture of these two characters. Who can explain to me what they think is happening here? Darling.
The girl is carrying the blankets for the old woman.
Good girl, Zaling. This little girl is carrying this old lady shopping. So instead of making the older lady carry a heavy bag full of fruit and groceries, she's carrying it for her. This tells me that this little girl is kind, helpful, and caring. These words are adjectives to describe characters. We can also call these character traits, and they are words that we use to describe characters. Let's have a look at the setting. So after we introduce the characters, often we get introduced to the setting. The setting tells where and when the story takes place. So sometimes we read stories that are set a long time ago, and they might start the story by saying a long, long time ago in America. And just from using these words, I know already that the setting is in the past and it's set in America. Let's have a look at some settings here. Sometimes your setting could be at some place like a dockyard. So here is where ships come in with lots and lots of goods, and then they get transported all around the country. Some settings can be mainly about different types of climate. So here we have a kind of icy tundra with some penguins. We can also have some settings that can be almost a little bit unrealistic. So this kind of looks a bit like Halong Bay, but sometimes we could have a setting with pirates, and we would know that that would be set a long, long time ago. Okay, let's have a look. Let's start talking about the plot in a story. Okay, who can tell me why characters must face a problem in a story? So when we have learned to write our own stories, I always tell you guys, we must have a problem in the middle of the story. Why is that? Why do we have to have a problem in a story? Okay, Tweety, go ahead.
To make the reader want to read more of our story to find the solution.
Amazing. Well done, Tweety. That's a perfect answer. We must have a problem in our story because it makes it exciting. And when it makes our story exciting, it means the reader will want to keep reading. If you have a story about wonderful things that are so nice and so happy the whole time, it will just get a bit boring. You won't want to keep reading to find out the solution. Good girl, Tweety. Okay, have a look at this next sentence. Not all stories have to have a happy ending, but why do you think it's good to have a happy ending at the end of your story?
Because the character will be happy.
Good job. The characters will be happy, and also the person reading it will feel happy. Sometimes at the end of our stories, we don't have a happy ending. Sometimes our stories end with 3 words: to be continued. If you ever read a story that ends like this, it means it has ended on something we call a cliffhanger. And the reason for that is hopefully the author wants you to buy the next book, where they will explain in the next book how the characters solve the problem. Okay, have a look here, guys. This is the last thing we're going to do today. We're going to work together to fill in this story map, this story structure story map. Have a look. So what I want us to do is I want us to work together to figure out the setting, to talk about the main characters, and to talk about the beginning, the middle, and the ending of this story. So click the raise your hand button if you can tell me some of the settings in a fine, fine school. Who can remember? Susie, can you give me one setting in a fine, fine school?
It takes place in the school.
Good girl, well done. In Tilly's school. So in Tilly's school is one main setting. Who can think of one other main setting? Okay, Mia, what do you think?
I think that the setting of the story will be at Chili's home.
Good job. Perfect answer. My main settings are school and Tilly's house. So I'm just going to add them in here to my story map so I can look at the structure of my story. Good girl, Mia. Okay, guys, so there are quite a few characters in a fine, fine school, but really there are 3 main characters. There are 3 main characters in this story. Who do you think the 3 main characters are? Steve, can you tell me?
Mr. Keane.
Good job. Well done, Steve. Mr. Keane is one of our main characters. Who else? Mingha, can you tell me another?
Little brother of Shirley and her dog.
Good job. So well done. Definitely Tilly's little brother. He plays a huge role in this story. So Beans and Tilly's brother. Good job. I'm looking for one other main character. Zaling, who do you think it is?
Tilly.
Good girl. Well done. Awesome work, guys. So I'm going to add that information to my story map. So Mr. Keane is one of my main characters, and also Tilly and her brother. They are also the other real main characters. Beans is a character in the story as well. Mom and dad are in the story in the pictures, and we have some other students in the pictures, but the story is mainly about Mr. Keane, Tilly, and her brother. Good job. Okay, so now that we figured out the setting and the main characters, let's move on to the plot. So the plot tells us everything that happens in the story from the beginning to the middle and to the very end. Tell me, who thinks they can summarize what happens in the beginning of this story? Teddy, can you please tell me?
The the small problem at the beginning of the story is Mr. Keene loves his school so much and was proud of his students
Mm-hmm.
and just then Mr. Keene added one more day is Saturday so they can go to school.
Amazing, Teddy. That is such an amazing summarization. Really good. Let's have a look. Have a look. Can you please read this for me? This is pretty much exactly what Teddy just said. Can you please read this for me? Let's go for Mickey. Mr. Keene.
Mr. Kim tell people at school that it a fine school. Telly plays with her brother and dog on the weekends. Mr. Kim decides
Good.
school will be open on Saturday.
Good job. Lovely reading, Mickey. Really good job. Teddy, it's like you had already read my summary before you said yours. So, Mr. Keene loves the school so much that he decides it will be open on Saturdays too. Before he decides this, Tilly has a lot of fun playing with her brother and dog on the weekends. Okay, in the middle, we have the really, really big problem. The problem gets really bad. What happens in the middle of the story, A Fine School? Let's go with Steve. Steve, can you help me? What do you think happens in the middle?
Mr. Kinshaw loved the school and he added more summer.
Yeah, so he also adds Sunday. So he adds Sunday first. And what about the students and the teachers? Are they happy about this?
No,
No, but do they tell him?
no, because I don't want to hurt Mr. Keen feeling.
Good job. Well done, Steve. Perfect summarization. Let's have a look here. Can you please read this for me, Ming Huang? The teachers.
The teachers and students don't want to go to school on Saturdays, but they don't know how to tell him. After
Mr. Keene.
Mr. Keen makes everyone go to school on Sundays and during summer too. No one wants to go, but no one will tell him.
Good job. Well done. Thanks for reading, Ming Huang. So basically, the teachers don't want to go to school on Saturday, but they don't know how to tell him because they don't want to upset his feelings. And after that, Mr. Keene starts making everyone go to school on Sundays and during summer. Still, nobody wants to go, but nobody will tell him because they like him so much and they don't want to disappoint him. Okay, what happens in the end? Who can tell me what happens in the end of our story? Okay, let's go for Hacker.
The end of the story, Mr. Kenley said, don't need to go to school in summer.
Absolutely, you are right. So at the end, Mr. Keene decides that the children don't have to go to school during summer or Saturdays or Sundays. Good job, Hacker. Can anyone tell me what happens just before he decides this? Why does he make this decision? Kui Kang, what do you think?
Because Chili go and went to to the office and tell she didn't want to
Good
go to
job.
school in summer or in
Good job. Well done. Tilly goes to Mr. Keane's office and she just explains to him that people are missing out on learning. And those people are herself, her little brother, and her dog. Then Mr. Keane goes through the hallways. And what does Mr. Keane see in the hallways? Tweety.
He sees students with unhappy face and the students is tired and don't want to learn.
Amazing. Good girl, Chi. So well done, guys. Have a look. Quang Hai, can you read this for me?
Tilly speaks to Mr. Keane. He sees that the students and teachers are unhappy. He decides there will be no school on weekends or summer. The children and the teachers cheer.
Lovely reading. Thanks, Crying High. Well done, guys. So we've just picked apart a fine school and we've put it together and summarized our perfect story map. So we know exactly the story structure. The main settings are school and Tilly's house. Our main characters are Mr. Keane, Tilly and her brother. And we were able to use our memory and go through from the beginning all the way to the ending and show how the plot kind of expanded and how this problem got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then finally how it was able to be fixed. Well done, guys. Really good work. Okay, so that's the last thing we're going to do today. So now I'm going to show you your homework. Have a look here, guys. So your homework is a little bit artsy. So what I want you to do is I want you to take some paper today and I want you to draw this square box down. So you can make it bigger if you would like. I'd like you to draw what this is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 puzzle pieces that fit together. So I want you to draw your own puzzle that connects characters, settings, problems, and solutions. So what you can do is you can pick your favorite story. It can be a book, or I will even let you choose a movie if you want to. So pick your favorite book or your favorite movie and then fill in the details. I want you to tell me who are the main characters, what are the main settings, what is the problem in this story, and how do they fix it. So I want you to write this all down in your puzzle, and in the characters and setting, I would like there to be some drawings. So in the characters, you can simply write the names. So for example, if there was a story about me, you might write Miss Rachel and students. And in the setting, you could write Everest School and the playground. And then I would want you to draw a little picture in the characters and setting box. Do I have any questions about what you have to do? Okay, Mickey, what's your question?
Can we write a story, a fine school?
Um, I don't want you to do a fine school because we already did that one today. So I want you to pick your favorite story. So I want to read about your different favorite stories. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And Quang Hai?
Can we draw? Can we choose a favorite movie in cartoon?
Yeah, it can be a cartoon story. Absolutely. No problem. Zaling?
If we done the homework, we take a picture and send in Google Drive.
Yes, please. Absolutely. So when you're finished with your beautiful homework, please take a picture of it and ask your mom or dad to help you upload it on Google Drive. Guys, Emma, Ming Ha, Kwang Ming, and Le Kang, please upload it onto Google Drive so that I can check it and I can pick the best ones and I will show them tomorrow and I can correct them. And Ming Ha? Nope. Okay, Teddy, do you have a question?
Um, do we need to write the story scale?
What, sorry, Ming Ha?
Does we need to write mm, the sentence?
Do you need to write full sentences?
Does we need to write the sentence next to the puzzle pieces?
Oh, no, you don't need to write this. No, this is just what you have to do. I've just explained this to you. So choose your favorite story and fill this in. So don't worry about this. I just want you to draw the puzzle piece. Okay, and Teddy, sorry, what's your question?
My question is, do we need to write the full problem and the solution in the box?
Yes, you do. So please write the problem and the solution in the box. So you can talk about the main problem and the main solution. So if you're going to write about a really long story that has lots and lots and lots of problems, you can pick the main problem and then tell me the main solution.
But mm, but we don't need to draw on the problem.
No, no need to draw down here. I just want drawings in the characters and setting section. Okay? Okay. And last question, Tweety.
But do our parents print this out, or we need to draw the
I
puzzle
want
pieces?
I want you to draw it because if they print it, it keeps it quite small. But if you draw it yourself, you can make it nice and big, so there's lots of space for you. So please draw this. You can just use a ruler and a pencil. Okay? Okay. Thank.
Okay.
All right, guys. So that is the end of our lesson. Really good job today. I'm excited to read all your story structures later, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Goodbye.
Bye bye.